Welcome to the Unqualified Disciple, a podcast about following Jesus even when you feel unready, unworthy, and unqualified. This is a real journey from the world into Christ, sharing faith, struggles, growth, and transformation. Let's walk this road together. In the name of Jesus, let's get into it. Hey guys, what's up? It's Charity again, and this is episode 2 with the Unqualified Disciple. And today we're going to be discussing being unqualified, feeling unqualified. However, the Lord still calls you anyway, and He still chooses you anyway. What did that look like for me? The Lord has called me up to share my testimony, but not only my testimony, to share what that looks like in flesh. What does that look like for a lot of people who don't understand, when they're called and they're coming from the world? To be an example for others that you are too qualified if the Lord calls you. So, a little bit about my story. When the Lord originally called me, I was reluctant to want to come to Christ. I did not want to because I enjoyed, so I thought, I enjoyed to be part of the world. I thought that being in the world, if I left it, I would be missing out on so much of what was going on in the physical. But in reality, when I decided to, after all the warfare that I was in and the way that the Lord showed up for me, nobody else showed up for me but Him. That told me that there was more to life in the spirit than in the physical that I live in at the moment. So when I decided to come to Christ and I gave Him my heart, and not only my heart, my life, I lived for Him and I told Him that and I chose Him above everything and anybody else, then it got difficult, right? Because then He asked me to show up. He asked me to step up and share the good news, right? So those things I was a bit afraid because, again, I don't know anything about Christ. I don't know how to pray. I don't know the Bible. I don't know the stories. I don't know the history. And, all I have to go on what He's asking me was my story, right? But I feel like you needed more to be qualified to be called to do what He has called me to do, which was doing the whole podcast thing, right? Which in turn, I mean, I guess is okay. Um, to do a podcast, but I just felt like I didn't have enough. And I wasn't qualified to do it. I felt very unqualified to do it. I gave Him a lot of running around. First, I confused the message that He clearly gave me when He spoke. He said to me, Charity, I need you to dissolve the business that you're currently in, and I need us to work together. I am now the CEO of your business moving forward. So I was under the impression that He wanted us to do a business, which my thing was always fashion. If you know about me, and you heard the first couple of episodes, you know that fashion is my thing. I was born to do that. But later on, did I figure out that that's not what I was born to do? I was born to follow Him. I was born to spread the good news. I was born to worship and glorify Him, right? And then you learn that later on. But, while I'm still in the world, right, because I don't know anything, dissolving the business that He's asking me to do, I dissolve the business and then I move forward into making a business in fashion of Christ. But then as I start moving forward, I start to notice that that's not what He wants me to do. I feel unmotivated. And usually I'm the type of person, I've always been this way. When I'm focused on creating a business and doing something, I go all the way. I don't take any breaks. I enjoy being an entrepreneur. I enjoy taking the ride, even the hard things that are not easy. I enjoy doing the hard things too, because I know that there's so much, it feels so good to know that you did all those great things and you were able to achieve them on your own. So as I was going through the motions of creating this godly business, I just started to feel unmotivated. It's not like me in any facet. I'm not like that. I'm the type of person, I'm very motivated. I motivate myself oftentimes. And funny enough, I motivate myself. And then I ended up noticing that that's not something that I wanted to do, which was odd. And I found odd because I was like, I don't want to do that. That's weird. Like I would be laggy, I would be tired, I would be lazy. And all I wanted to do was speak about him, read about him, be with him, be in his presence. That's all I wanted to do. And then I came to the point where I started to ask questions and I started to say, Lord, is this really happening to me right now? Am I not really 100% like I don't want to do it? I didn't want to do it and I didn't understand why. And I started to ask questions when I noticed. I thought it was just because I was tired and I needed a break of constantly trying to build businesses and falling short, because I felt like I did all the things right. Either I didn't give it enough time to flourish or I didn't do enough research or whatever the case may be. I felt like it was just a waste. So then I started to do the digging and I started to wonder and say to myself, Lord, am I doing something wrong or is this something that you do not want me to do? Which one is it? Because I feel like I'm not really interested in investing time in a fashion brand. I just felt like I just wasn't giving it my all. Is this something that I want to do? Because I feel like this is not what you want to do, and this is not what you want me to do. And so I think that you're taking away the taste of what that felt like for me, which was the passion of fashion. It was non-existent anymore. I felt no connection to it anymore. I wanted to consistently be with him at all times, and if that meant that it wasn't nothing to do with him, then guess what? I didn't want to do it. So once I understood that that's not what I wanted to do anymore, I started to do some more digging and more praying, and I found out that he didn't want me to do that. That was not the calling for me. That was not my purpose. So then when it turned to podcasting, at that point, I felt really unqualified. That was the first point in my life where I really felt that I was truly unqualified because I didn't know anything about podcasting. I didn't know anything about, yes, I knew a lot of things about social media. I knew a lot of things about promotion, marketing, and all those things. But talking about him as something that was consistent and, just all the time, it was just like I felt very unqualified to do because, mind you, I just came to Christ. That was not something that I spoke about with others consistently. I just felt like that was not for me. And I would tell the Lord, I would say, God, are you sure? He gave me the same story and he confirmed. First, it was through scripture, through the prayers. I realized that, oh Lord, you are changing it up on me to see how I pivot, to see how I, am obedient to the request of completely letting something go and picking up something that he really wants me to do. So when I thought of that, I immediately, you know, felt fear, a mixture of feelings. I was very reluctant to have a conversation. So then I started to search on, what do you call this? Chat GPT, thinking that this would ideally give me what I needed to speak on the Lord, but no. And this is funny because coming to this time and that you're listening, this is a year in the making, but not necessarily only the podcast, also myself, building my courage, building my knowledge, building my confidence to know that this was a lot of trial and error, right? Like messing up, starting all over again, messing up, starting all over again, building my courage, building my will to want to do, right? Because I felt that again, I was unqualified to do. I'm not knowledgeable about Christ. I'm not someone that, you would come to get, advice on the word, right? So for me, it was very, very hard, and every time that I felt unqualified, the Lord still chose me, and He would continue to choose me. And when He did, at that point, I knew I couldn't let Him down. At that point, it wasn't about what I was saying or any of that. It was about when was the right time that I was gonna just come out and feel confident to do it, right? Because at that point, I knew that He wasn't gonna change His mind, and our Father is one word. He doesn't change his mind. He made a decision to choose you. He chose you and he knows what he's doing. So with that, he told me, I chose you and this is what you're going to do because this is what I called you to do. And you will speak on all things Christ right? So it was just like bossy, but not bossy, but kind and loving, bossy, but very comforting at the same time. And knowing that I couldn't let him down, even though I felt like I would let him down. And obviously we consistently let him down often. We're sinners, but I just felt like, Lord, I'm going to try my best. And obviously, I want a kingdom driven business. And this was the business you called me to. However, I don't know what I'm doing. So you're going to lead the conversations. You're going to lead the topics. You're going to lead who you want me to do this with. Because ideally, I don't want to do this alone. Right. And then he led me also to my sister, which that's not her, podcasting is not her thing, but she loves Christ. And, she also was called to, win souls for the kingdom. And as we are moms and we're super busy, this was the fastest and easiest way that we can get to as many people as we can to speak the word and let them know that, hey, listen, time is running out and we need to share with you our experiences and hope that this will give you the oomph that you need to take the step and to plant the seed. Well, at that point, my sister also doesn't understand anything podcast. I didn't understand anything podcast. I still at this moment, he told me that she was the one that I would partner up with. But still, I'm building, through conversations and a lot of, coming together, brainstorming, a lot of mess ups. We messed up a lot. We've, figured out a lot of things and we're still trying to work out the kinks as we're doing what we're doing and still trying to figure it out. We figured out that two things. We love Christ and we love to talk about Christ. And he's the only person we talk about consistently and constantly. So we had to, do that and just focus on talking about him, period, point blank. So when we started to do that, we just felt so good. There was not a clock, there was not a time that we wanted to end in conversation about Christ. And I think that that's the thing that we needed to focus on. And I think that's the thing that he wanted us to focus on, to know that the passion that we have for him in conversation was so deep and exciting that that's what we should lean on and nothing else. And the whole thing about being unqualified or qualified didn't matter to him. He chose us and that's what it was. And at that point, he just wanted us to lean on understanding that we were chosen and that the conversations that will be led will be from him. And that as long as that we enjoy the conversation and the way that we speak and the passion that we share about him, it didn't matter whether we said it the right way or the wrong way or how we said it or if we didn't say it or if we did say it. It didn't matter because whoever was going to be touched or wherever the seed was going to be planted as far as the people that he chose to hear us speak about him, it was going to be planted regardless. Because remember, he's the one that has the power and the tools to get to everyone, right? We're just the vessels that he's using, the people that he's using to come to bring the message. And it took almost a year to feel qualified and still feeling unqualified, even to this point, sharing this with you right now. And the whole point of this episode is to understand that although you feel unqualified, he still chose you. And that's what you should lean on. The rest will come on its own. And that was the lesson that I learned in the whole journey, that he still chose us. And the kinks will work itself out. We don't know what we're going to talk about, how we're going to do it. But just know that when those moments happen that you don't know what to talk about, that you don't know, let's say if he chose you to do podcasting, right? That he chose you to do these things, what do you do in an instinct like that, right? You ask him, what do you want me to talk about? What do you need me to do? How do you want me to do it, right? And understanding that you need to be open to the way that you're going to receive the message, right? It might not be an audible voice. It might be through an episode you saw from someone else's podcast or a YouTube or through another vessel, another human, another person, a person you see in the supermarket, a prophet, a disciple, a show. The point is you need to be relatively available to receiving when you ask. Because it might not come directly from him. It might come from an angel. It might come from a person, a stranger in the street. So my point is that, yes, you do feel unqualified. We all do, but he enjoys choosing the unqualified because I feel like he feels like the people that are unqualified are going to deliver it the best because we're imperfect. We don't have an attachment to perfection because we don't know what that looks like only with him, right? He is perfection. We don't know otherwise perfection outside of him. So with that, we understand that we are going to mess up. We understand that we don't know what we're doing, but we're going to do it anyway because we were called to. And if we don't do it, we are being disobedient. And if we're being disobedient, we are not entering the gates of heaven, which that's something that I dread. So I'm gathering up my courage and strength to do as I'm told, do it with joy and love, and know that what he has for us is so much better than what we could ever imagine or plan out for ourselves. So with that, I tell you, yes. Do you feel unqualified? Yes. Do you have fears? Absolutely. Should you do it anyway? Yeah, it's worth it. I don't know what's at the other side of this podcast and me doing this. All I know is that hopefully whoever I touched is one step closer to salvation. And that should be the goal. The rest he'll provide for me. And I know that when I told him, Lord, you chose me to do this. You know the things I need. I don't have to tell you. I will do it with joy, love, and passion. I just need to make sure that when I do it, it shows and the people that I'm sharing it with know that I'm being transparent and also see that there is fear there in my conversations with myself, not going into the kingdom of heaven than not doing what he asked me to do. So what that I'm saying, guys, is that with tremble in my voice, I tell you, do it anyway. Whoever hears or don't hear, it doesn't matter. He's going to choose the people who's supposed to hear or not hear. If they're going to make fun of you, it doesn't matter because I know at the end I want to walk into that kingdom and he'll say, well done. You did what I asked you to, whether you were afraid or not. It didn't matter. And whether you felt unqualified, we're all unqualified. You'll never be able to be me or be perfect, but just the effort in which you do it with is so much more gratifying than not doing it at all and say that you failed, right? So thank you, Holy Spirit, with that, receiving his spirit right now. Led me to feel him and know that I'm doing the right thing and that this recording will go far. I know that for a fact. So guys, this was episode 2. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope that this plant a seed in your heart to know that move forward. Whatever he asked you to do, just do it. Do it with fear. Do it with tremble. Do it with all the things that you fear in your heart. Do it anyway, because the reward that's behind that door is so much more greater than any other thing you can ever think that you could do for yourself. That's episode 2, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me to do it. So with that, just know that I love you, but he loves you so much more because he's led me to do this. And hopefully I've planted the seed and you will continue to search. You will continue to seek him. And please, I encourage you to get into the word, read the word. And before you get into the word, pray over the Bible, pray over your prayer moments with him. That way you can receive all the blessings that you receive when you're in your prayer closet. With that, God bless you. Stay tuned to episode 3 and so much more is coming. God bless you. And until next episode, peace out.